We began our learning strategy journey at Hilti in 2015 with research related to our current situation and taking into account our unique culture. We are a 75-year history company with a very strong culture. We are headquartered in Liechtenstein, and we still operate under many of the same guidelines. We're process oriented, we're engineering focused, and we're risk averse. And we needed to take that into account, as well as taking into account the changing demographics of our workforce. Our data at that point showed that we would be between 60 and 70% millennial by 2020. And we actually are more than that. We hit 70% millennial in 2019. So that is something that we knew we needed to deal with, and therefore we needed to talk to people who could tell us how they wanted to learn. And what they told us was that they really wanted to learn at work the same way they learned at home. And that shouldn't come as a big surprise to us, but to a certain extent it did, and we needed to dig into that a little bit. We found that the reason they weren't participating in our existing programs were because we were doing only formal learning. We did not have a platform that would allow us to have on-demand resources as much as we needed, and we needed to change our approach. They wanted to learn by video. They wanted to have things that were bite-sized and much smaller. They wanted to have things where they could access materials from their phone, from their computers while they were in the process, or as they call it, the flow of work. And those were things that we needed to take into account and we needed to deal with in the way that we were preparing our workforce. We also had a changing environment around us. The construction industry was becoming more and more digital every day, and we needed to be able to understand and prepare our workforce for that environment as well. So with this in mind, we had to make a lot of changes. We needed to make a lot of changes to the way we designed our learning programs. So we needed to be very performance focused, not as much competency based or preparation based, but really focused upon what it means to perform in role and how does somebody do that. We also needed to create a platform that would allow people this easy access, that would allow people on-demand type of learning and would allow people to tell us what they liked and what they didn't like. And we found that, we also needed to change our mindset. We needed to take our trainers from being people who saw themselves as kind of the sage on the stage, from a professor, a teaching mindset, to somebody who was really focused on coaching, who was focused on supporting people in a digital environment, who was focused on helping people learn from each other, gain peer exchange information, and operate in an environment that was much more collaborative and much less teaching. That's actually our learning strategy tagline: stop teaching and start learning. And this meant a big mind shift for all of our trainers, for all the people who were developing training materials, and for some of our longer tenured employees who were used to having a lot of certifications and things that were laid out for them in advance. Now, jump forward, we had to do quite a bit of research to find vendors who could support this journey. We actually tried multiple vendors related to learning design, because we have a very small global team. There's just 22 people in our global learning team, and they're also responsible for delivering training in our headquarters environment. We found a lot of vendors who were willing to do exactly what we told them. We found vendors who were really focused on classroom training, or they were helping us turn classroom training into webinar training. And then finally we found a vendor in AnswerSource who was able to act as a partner with us. They consult, they challenge us, they they're constantly trying to push us to really meet the needs of our team members and provide quality 70-20-10 materials so that we have formal learning. We have all the on-the-job supports, the performance supports, the collaborative learning opportunities designed in. We also found a platform that allowed for collaborative learning, Fuse, and that's been a lifesaver to us to have the possibility to have our materials easily accessible by our team members. And we worked quite a lot on changing the mindset of our own team members and becoming much more consultative, much more focused on what are the exact changes, the business changes that are needed. So what is it that people need to be performing? What needs to change in the way they're performing before we start trying to create solutions? And now, at the beginning of 2019, we can happily say that our journey is still a journey, but it's been a success so far. We have 99% of our 27,000 global employees accessing our collaborative learning system in 34 different languages. So people from 120 different countries are all participating proactively in learning. We have a widespread acceptance of the new methodology. We're constantly having people who are coming to us now and saying, how did you create those Triple S videos? That's our sales training. How did you create that leadership course in a way that allowed you to do that? And that's been really, really fun to see that we have created a brand for our department that says we're not just here to train your people, we're not the repair shop, we're actually here to consult, we're here to help you make sure that your people can perform. And that's only been possible because we've had some great partnerships. AnswerSource is our primary partner for developing content, whether that's video-based content, classroom, on-the-job performance supports, whatever it happens to be. Fuse with our learning platform. Julian Stodd with Sea Salt Learning has been a tremendous help in our cultural journey. And I want to say, a big thank you, because this journey would not have been possible without having partners who could fill the needs that we had to achieve our business results. And I'm really looking forward to what's next. I think we're focusing now on really trying to measure the impact. So say, can we tie back the informal learning opportunities as well as the formal learning to changes in the business? And that's our current challenge. And I have faith that our partners are going to be able to help us with that portion of our journey as well.